My name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Champaran is the land of King Janak. Just as it abounds in mango groves, so used it to be full of indigo plantations until the year 1917. The Champaran tenant was bound by law to plant 3 out of every 20 parts of his land with indigo for his landlord. This system was known as Tinkathiya system, as 3 kathas of 20 has to be planted with indigo. I must confess that I did not then know even the name, much less the geographical position of Champaran, and I had hardly any notion of indigo plantations. I'd seen the packets of indigo, but little dreamed that it was grown and manufactured in Champaran at great hardship to thousands of agriculturalists. Rajkumar Shukla was one of the agriculturalists who had been under this harrow, and he was filled with a passion to wash away the stain of indigo for the thousands who were suffering as he suffered. This man caught hold of me at Lucknow, where I had gone for the Congress of 1916. Vakil Babu will tell you everything about our distress, he said, and urged me to go to Champaran. Vakil Babu was none other than Babu Brij Kishore Prasad, who became my esteemed co-worker in Champaran and who is the soul of public work in Bihar. Rajkumar Shukla brought him to my tent. He was dressed in a black alpaca achkan and trousers. Brij Kishore Babu failed then to make an impression on me. I took it that he must be some vakil exploiting the simple agriculturalist. Having heard from him something of Champaran, I replied, as was my wont, I can give no option without seeing the condition with my own eyes. You will please move the resolution in the Congress, but leave me free for the present. Rajkumar Shukla of course wanted some help from the Congress. Babu Brij Kishore Prasad moved the resolution expressing sympathy for the people of Champaran, and it was unanimously passed. Rajkumar Shukla was glad, but far from satisfied. He wanted me personally to visit Champaran and witness the miseries of the riots there. I told him that I would include Champaran in the tour which I had contemplated and give it a day or 2. One day will be enough, said he, and you will see things with your own eyes. From Lucknow, I went to Kanpur. Rajkumar Shukla followed me there. Champaran is very near here. Please give a day, he insisted. Pray excuse me this time, but I promise that I will come, said I, further committing myself. I returned to the ashram. The ubiquitous Rajkumar was there too. Pray, fix the day now, he said. Well, said I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me then and take me from there. I did not know where I was to go, what to do, what things to see. Before I reached Bhupin Babu's place in Calcutta, Rajkumar Shukla had gone and established himself there. Thus this ignorant, unsophisticated but resolute agriculturalist captured me. So early in 1917, we left Calcutta for Champaran, looking just like fellow rustics. I did not even know the train. He took me to it and we travelled together, reaching Patna in the morning. This was my first visit to Patna. I had no friend or acquaintance with whom I could think of putting up. I had an idea that Rajkumar Shukla, simple agriculturalist as he was, must have some influence in Patna. I'd come to know him a little more on the journey, and on reaching Patna, I had no illusions left concerning him. He was perfectly innocent of everything. The vakils that he had taken to be his friends were really nothing of the sort. Poor Rajkumar was more or less as a menial to them. But such agriculturalist kinds and their vakils, there is a gulf as wide as Ganges in flood. Rajkumar Shukla took me to Rajendra Babu's place in Patna. Rajendra Babu had gone to Puri or some other place, I now forget which. There were 1 or 2 servants at the bungalow who paid us no attention. I had with me something to eat, I wanted dates which my companion procured for me from the bazaar. There was strict untouchability in Bihar. I might not draw water at the well whilst the servants were using it. Less drops of water from my bucket might pollute them. The servants not knowing to what caste I belonged. Rajkumar directed me to the indoor latrine. The servant promptly directed me to the outdoor one. All this was far from surprising or irritating to me, for I was inured to such things. The servants were doing the duty which they thought Rajendra Babu would wish them to do. These entertaining experiences enhanced my regard for Rajkumar Shukla, if they also enabled me to know him better. I saw now that Rajkumar Shukla could not guide me and that I must take the reins in my own hands. I knew Maulana Mazharul Haq in London when he was studying for the bar, and when I met him at the Bombay Congress in 1915, the year in which he was the president of the Muslim League, he had renewed the acquaintance and extended me an invitation to stay with him whenever I happened to go to Patna. I bethought myself of this invitation and sent him a note indicating the purpose of my visit. He immediately came in his car and pressed me to accept his hospitality. I thanked him and requested him to guide me to my destination by the first available train, the railway guide being useless to an utter stranger like me. He had a talk with Rajkumar Shukla and suggested that I should first go to Muzaffarpur. The train was for that place on the same evening, and he had sent me off by it. Kripalani was then in Muzaffarpur. I had known for him ever since my visit to Hyderabad. Dr. Chaitharam had told me of his great sacrifice, of his simple life, and of the ashram that Dr. Chaitharam was running out of funds provided by Professor Kripalani. He used to be a professor in the Government College, Muzaffarpur, and he had resigned the post when I went there. I had sent a telegram informing him of my arrival, and he met me at the station with a crowd of students. Though the train reached there at midnight, he had no rooms of his own and was staying with Professor Malkani, who therefore virtually became my host. It was an extraordinary thing in those days for a government professor to harbor a man like me. Professor Kripalani spoke to me about the desperate condition of Bihar, particularly of the Tirhut division, and he gave me an idea of the difficulty of my task. He had established very close contact with the Biharis and had already spoken to them about the mission that took me to Bihar. In the morning, a small group of vakils called on me. I still remember Ram Navami Prasad among them, as his earnestness especially appealed to me. "It is not possible," he said, "for you to do the thing of work you have come for. If you stay here, you must come and stay with one of us. Gaya Babu is a well-known vakil here. I have come on his behalf and invite you to stay with him. I confess we all are afraid of government, but we shall render what help we can. Most of the things Rajkumar Shukla has told you are true. It is pity our leaders are not here today. I have, however, wired to them both, Babu Brij Kishore Prasad and Babu Rajendra Prasad. I expect them to arrive shortly, and they are sure to be able to give you all the information you want and to help you considerably. Pray, come over to Gaya Babu's place." This was a request that I could not resist, though I hesitated for fear of embarrassing Gaya Babu. But he put me at ease, and so I went over to stay with him. He and his people showered all the affection on me. Braj Kishore Babu now arrived from Darbhanga and Rajendra Babu from Puri. Braj Kishore Babu was not the Babu Braj Kishore Prasad I had met in Lucknow. He impressed me this time with his humility, simplicity, goodness, and extraordinary faith, so characteristic of Biharis. And my heart was joyous over it. The Bihar Vakil's regard for him was an agreeable surprise to me. Soon I felt myself becoming bound to this circle of friends in lifelong friendship. Braj Kishore Babu acquainted me with the facts of the case. He used to be in a habit of taking up the cases of the poor tenants. There were 2 such cases pending when I went there. When he won any such case, he consoled himself that he was doing something good for these poor people. Not that he did not charge fees from these simple peasants. Lawyers labor under the belief that if they do not charge fees, they will have no wherewithal to run their households and will not be able to render effective help to the poor people. The figures of the fees they charged and the standard of a barrister's fee in Bengal and Bihar staggered me. We gave rupees 10,000 to so and so for his opinion, I was told. Nothing less than 4 figures in any case. The friends listened to my kindly reapproach and did not misunderstand me. Having studied these cases, said I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to law courts. Taking such cases to the courts does little good, where the riots are so crushed and fear-stricken. Law courts are useless. The real relief for them is to be free from fear. We cannot sit still until we have driven Tin Kathiya out of Bihar. I had thought that I should be able to leave here in 2 days, but I now realize that the work might take even 2 years. I am prepared to give that time if necessary. I am now feeling my ground, but I want your help. I found Braj Kishore unexceptionally cool-headed. We shall render all the help we can, he said quietly. But pray, tell us what kind of help will you need? And thus we sat talking until midnight. I shall have little use of your legal knowledge, I said to them. I want clerical assistance and help in interpretation. It may be necessary to face imprisonment, but much as I would love you to run that risk, you would go only so far as you feel yourselves capable of going. Even turning yourselves into clerks and giving up your profession for an indefinite period is no small thing. I find it difficult to understand the local dialect of Hindi, and I shall not be able to read newspapers in Kathi or Urdu. I shall want you to translate them for me. We cannot afford to pay for this work. It should all be done for love and out of a spirit of service. Braj Kishore Babu understood this immediately, and he now cross-examined me and his companions by turns. He tried to ascertain the implication of all that I had said. How long this service would be required, how many of them would be needed, whether they might serve by turns or so on. Then he asked the Vakils the capacity of their sacrifice. Ultimately, they gave me this assurance: such and such a number of us will do whatever you may ask. Some of us will be with you for so much time as you may require. The idea of accommodating oneself to imprisonment is a noble thing for us. We will try to assimilate it. Meanwhile, I wrote a letter to L.F. Morshid, the Commissioner of the Tirhut Division. Dear Sir, having heard a great deal about the condition of the Indians working in connection with indigo plantation, I have arrived here to ascertain, so far as is possible, for myself the true position. I would like to do my work with the cognizance and even cooperation, if I can secure it, of the local administration. I shall be obliged if you will kindly grant me an interview so that I may place before you the object of my inquiry and learn whether I may receive any assistance from the local administration in furtherance of my work. I am yours faithfully, M.K. Gandhi. My object was to inquire into the condition of the Champaran agriculturists and understand their grievances against the indigo planters. For this purpose, it was necessary that I should meet thousands of the riots, but I deemed it essential, before starting on my inquiry, to know the planters' side of the case and see the commissioner of the division. I sought and was granted appointments with both. The secretary of the Planters Association, told me that I was an outsider and that I had no business to come between the planters and their tenants. But if I had any representation to make, I might submit it in writing. I politely told him that I did not regard myself as an outsider and that I had every right to inquire into the condition of the tenants if they desire me to do so. The commissioner on whom I called proceeded to bully me and advised me forthwith to leave Tirhut. I acquainted my co-workers with all this and told them that there was a great likelihood of government stopping me from proceeding further, and that if I was to be arrested, it would be best that the arrest should take place in Motihari or if possible in Beteha. It was advisable, therefore, that I should go to those places as early as possible. Champaran is a district of the Tirhut division and Motihari is its headquarters. Rajkumar Shukla's place was in the vicinity of Beteha and the tenants belonging to the Kothis in its neighborhood were the poorest in the district. Rajkumar Shukla wanted me to see them and I was equally anxious to do so. So I started with my co-workers for Motihari the same day. Babu Gorakh Prasad harbored us in his home, which became a caravanserai. It could hardly contain us all. The very same day, we heard that about 5 miles from Motihari, a tenant had been ill-treated. It was decided that, in company with Babu Dharanidhar Prasad, I should go and see him the next morning, and we accordingly set off for the place on elephant's back. An elephant, by the way, is about as common in Champaran as bullock cart in Gujarat. Meanwhile, I wrote another letter to Mr. Morshed. Dear Mr. Morshed, in accordance with my promise made this morning, I send you a letter addressed to me by the inviting friends who are at present here. I fear that I might have failed to convey to you the exact scope of my mission. I therefore restate it here. I am anxious to test the accuracy of the statements made to me by various friends regarding indigo matters and to find out for myself whether I can render useful assistance. My mission is that of making peace with honor. I am yours truly, M.K. Gandhi. I enclose too a note just given by Babu Arikshan Sinha, M.K.G. We had scarcely gone halfway when a messenger from the police superintendent overtook us and said that the letter had sent his compliments. I saw what he meant. Having left Dharanidhar Babu to proceed to the original destination, I got into the hired carriage which the messenger has brought. He then served on me a notice to leave Champaran and drove me to my place. His asking me to acknowledge the service of the notice, I wrote to the effect that I did not propose to comply with it and leave Champaran till my inquiries were finished. Thereupon, I received a summons to take my trial the next day for disobeying the order to leave Champaran. I kept awake that whole night writing letters and giving necessary instructions to Babu Brij Kishore Prasad. The news of the notice and the summons spread like wildfire, and I was told that Motihari that day witnessed unprecedented scenes. Gorakh Babu's house and the courthouse overflowed with men. Fortunately, I had finished all my work during the night and so was able to cope with the crowds. My companion proved the greatest help. They occupied themselves with regulating the crowd, for the latter followed me wherever I went. A sort of friendliness sprang up between the officials, collector, magistrate, police superintendent and myself. I might have legally resisted the notices served on me. Instead, I accepted them all and my conduct towards the officials was correct. They thus saw that I did not want to offend them personally, but that I wanted to offer civil resistance to their orders. In this way, they were put at ease and instead of harassing me, gladly availed themselves of my and my co-workers' cooperation in regulating the crowds. But it was an ocular demonstration to them of the fact that their authority was shaken. The people had for the moment lost all fear of punishment and yielded obedience to the power of love which their new friend exercised. It should be remembered that no one knew me in Champaran. The peasants were all ignorant. Champaran, being far up north of the Ganges and the right at the foot of the Himalayas in close proximity to Nepal, was cut off from the rest of India. The Congress was practically unknown in those parts. Even those who had heard the name of the Congress shrank from joining it and even mentioning it. And now the Congress and its members had entered this land, though not in the name of Congress, yet in a far more real sense.